Map number 1 is already waiting. Oregon for this best of 3. Let's jump in. Donuts USG checking on GyoGun. The winner will face Cyclops in the best of 3 grand final. Predictions, Anox. Give me something. Who do you think is going to win?
Best of 3 or Oregon?
Best of 3.
I want to say USG only because I've actually seen their games and casted their games so far. GyoGun, though, their result against Fav, it's hard to not look at that and think, gee, is that Fav like just continuing their downward trend in recent months, or is that GyoGun just being nuts? I'm still going to just back in USG, though. I think I saw enough from them. I think if they can improve upon their performance against Bluevies, where they were good, they were the better team, but they just made a few little mistakes here and there. They clean up those little mistakes and they can be a really, really solid outfit. So far, no bans that have come out that are surprising at all, at least here for Oregon. The Flores does make it through, so that should be one to watch and get used quite extensively here on Oregon, as Donuts USG will have the final ban.
I'll just back in GyoGun. I was just going to go the opposite to whoever you picked. So that's about the extent of my reasoning heading into this matchup. I really just don't know how to separate these two at the moment, again, given that I haven't watched all that much of them. So ban phase ends, again, Habana, Ying, Valk, Mirror. Very standard here for Oregon. As you mentioned, the Flores did sneak through. We might see a bit of play, particularly in, the likes of Basement and Blue Clears, for example. Utility upstairs as well, such as Shields might now be vulnerable. That said, we've only seen limited Flores play here so far in the championship. Doesn't feel like it's been too heavily leaned upon by many teams, so we'll have to see. And I mean, of course, you can just bring grenades instead, right? Maverick and Fink are already being selected here in the first round.
Yeah, we did see a little bit of Flores last night. Surprisingly, on Cafe, actually saw quite a lot of Flores. And a little bit, obviously, in the Oregon matchup as well between Cyclops and Zeptos. So I'd be surprised if it doesn't come out at some point in this particular game. Certainly would be. So our second semi-final of the Japan Championship now underway. The winner of this best of 3 will move on to the grand final, take on Cyclops. The loser will go to that third place match against Zepto. That which will actually be after this best of 3. So third place matchup, which will also be a best of 3. And then of course the grand final later tonight. I may as well say tonight, because I don't think it'll be this afternoon. I think the third place match will probably be this afternoon and then the grand final tonight.
Heavy deployable shield play already here from Donuts in this particular round. Strangely enough, being faced towards the front push, over towards Laundry and Freezer. I don't know if that's necessarily read on GyoGun and what they're more likely to do in terms of their attacking tendencies. Have to wait and see. Barricades as well extensively up above to try and slow down this room clear a little bit, maybe give a false sense of threat perhaps to the attack as they attempt to clear up above. Now, no Kaid here in this round. It doesn't really matter anyway, as the attack has that Maverick in play, and Habana is banned out regardless, so probably not too much to note there in terms of the lack of wall denial, but I'm excited to see just how quickly GyoGun take above. Top control already here from the Bucks, so that's probably a good start.
Yeah, very bunkered defense of team comp here for Donuts. You got the ADSs, you got the magnets as well, Vulcan shields, and the deployable shield as well of the Alibi, and the deployable shield of the Smoke as well. So this is quite literally just going to be a bunker down, Turtle on site. Don't really do too much. At most, you show face over towards entry points like backstairs, but it's not going to be like a full commit. Rento needs to make sure he avoids that default camera. Well, not default, what am I saying? He's defending.
Ooh,
Bit of 48 seconds.
There's actually someone in Big Tower here, right? So Donut's playing quite aggressively, and you can see DXD in this position, or DD in this position. Will fall back though, so only a little bit of perceived pressure here perhaps. Able to make his way back down halfway into the round. Elsewhere, GyoGun, again, working those hatches, trying to get control. Nades will probably come into play soon, clearing out those deployable shields and other utility. That was a bit of a peculiar Alibi Prisma, but Either way, Lambo able to push through, spots out again one of those shields. ADS device may have protected that Gon 6 projectile. I think it may have, but with that burnt flashbang as well, just to ensure that a grenade should follow soon here from the Maverick. It will. That's going to make that position very, very vulnerable. In fact, it's an opening kill.
Yeah, Pero just not really paying much respect to that nade. Opening kill of the best of 3 series goes to GyoGun. Can they use this though to take this opening round? That matters even more. 40 seconds remaining. Freezer push looking quite successful. No way, over towards backstairs. Now they've got actually 2 pushing in from Freezer. The swing will be successful from Kawao. Lamball though still there on the finger. Hasn't used any adrenal surges, but finds the easiest of kills. Easy peek from Freezer. In fact, now over towards Pillar as well. The push from GyoGun, they just open up this basement site with ease towards the end of that round.
Yeah, some good aggression there on the attack, able to get those opening peaks, the power of the Finca, the LMG, really strong. It did seem as if maybe the defense there of USG was caught a little bit asleep. It seemed like they should have known that Freezer control was lost or forfeited, but didn't necessarily seem to be the case. A pretty easy double kill there in the end for the Finca, and from there, pretty cruisy, I guess, round conversion as well. So a good start here on the attack. Basement, though, at this point in time in the current meta, it's pretty well thought through, and actually quite challenging to defend against, particularly with some of the flair we're seeing from these Japanese teams in this particular tournament. So not too much of a red flag necessarily here for the defense, and USG should be able to bounce back on the top 4.
Wall secure.
One thing's for certain though, we cannot get overexcited at all in any way, shape or form, even at the conclusion of the first map. Both of these 2 teams lost their first maps of the quarterfinal. They were both down 1-0. And then they both then won 2 maps in a row to proceed to the semi-final. GyoGun lost it so bad, it was like, what, 7-1? I don't think anyone would have predicted them to be able to do what they did after that, especially in the fashion of how they did it. Kawao. There is a player there, might be able to find the spawn peak, and does. USG, great start to this second round.
Unfortunate there for Eurobit, taken down one of the hard breaches as well, but Lambor finds a kill in response. That's Kawa taken down, so they have achieved a vengeance here, but again, with that hard breach down and now only Maverick available, it's going to make things tough, and there's just so much aggression at the moment here. No one from GyoGun can sit safely outside of the building, and this is just this relentless aggression that we've probably come to expect at this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, sitting safe outside of the building's one thing, but when you're just standing in the middle of a double window like that, it's pretty easy pickings for the defender. USG will punish Lamball's positioning. No way, trying to take control now. Over towards dining, trying to push in towards kitchen. Still a lot of time left on the clock remaining. Caillou just holding above, and has been a big player of the Echo as well in the earlier matches in the Japan Championship. So a bit of a staple pick. As to its success, moderate. Maybe is probably the to the degree I would say for it. To be the most impactful operator when selected, but always nice to see when someone's going to bring a bit of a niche pick. We don't see the Echo too much in other regions.
Pretty risky here from DD to be playing down below, and it does allow maybe this attack to gain a little bit more of a foothold than in reality it should. Now I was expecting the Buck to go down below here, maybe to get aggressive and find something on the fur. Hero ready and waiting. Now able to use that line to his advantage and prevent that player from walking up white, but unfortunately does get time, does still find the kill though, drops the kit, and basically confirms the round.
Yeah, and that's going to be USG taking this round. They Earned it though, even after that spawn peak. Io-Chan pushes in now from top wide over towards Games. Might catch this player over towards Addict. Should actually get the kill onto Rento. It does make it a 2 versus 3. A decent position actually close to the site. Still got that next player though for USG coming in from top white. Could change things late round. Kerry finds the elimination onto Pero. DD needs to now swing in towards Games. Stop this from going down. He whiffs completely. Only landed a few tags, but fortunately follows it up with Caillou. They both combine and find the second round here. It's 1-1.
Yeah, it definitely got a little bit closer than I think it really should have, given it was a 4 versus 2. But nonetheless, was always going to be a tricky position for the attack to convert that across the line. So well played there by USG to hold on. And DD, who was offside for such a prolonged period of time, able to make his way back up white. Yes, he whiffed, but able to close things out in the end. Some pretty convincing defenses so far. Although I will say they're heavily relying, at least they did on that last round in particular, a lot of early round aggression that if the attack's actually a bit better switched on, it really shouldn't be falling victim to. So again, here on the attack, it's going to be up to GyoGun to respond to that, make sure they're a bit more switched on here in the early phases of trying to actually get even towards the building, never mind in the building, and not give away picks for free.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Kidstorm successfully won for USG. They head back down to basement for their second attempt. Of course, GyoGun winning in the opening ground of Laundry Supply. They will essentially repeat. Don't believe they had the multi the first time around. They had the Goyo instead. I don't believe they had the Echo either. They had the Alibi. So a slight change up in the team composition for USG. Not sure if that's going to be a successful change or not. Of course, the Yokai drone's going to help provide information late round with the bursts as well. Mozzie and Pero can find a few pests. That's even more info that they can gather. But technically also somewhat less utility. I mean, the Echo does bring the deployable shield anyway. Get a Nitro Cell from the Mozzie, so you can make use of that. The more concerning thing was last time they completely bunkered down early on, only showed phase over towards backstairs. This is already going to be a little bit more aggressive here. Para should find a kill, doesn't commit to it against Io-Chan. Probably had that kill and just fell off it too early.
And again, it's another aggressive spawn peak. Pero will end up getting a kill though. Able to get that pick there once more there. Onto nowhere. Looking for a second over towards Armory. As these players try to converge in his position, the Nitro Cell does a lot of damage there onto Kerry. And Pero, despite only getting 1 pick, has inflicted 3 players with pain at the moment. And this has been a really rough start for GyoGun. Looking to still clear this position. Pero swings wide. Probably unlucky enough to claim that kill. Eventually gets pinched and taken down, albeit inflicting again more damage here onto the Maverick. A bit of a rough start for GyoGun, but at the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse.
No, Pero did amazing there. The only reason why Kerry's alive is the Adrenal Surge, basically. I mean, might have had 1 or 2 health had that Adrenal Surge not been active, but you can basically see it by the bar remaining. That's almost like that Adrenal Surge boost itself that has kept Kerry alive, courtesy of Lamball. And now, the Adrenal Surges, which is 2 left, can actually do enough to heal back Io-Chan and Kerry back up for this final push. So that's going to negate a lot of the work that Pero actually was able to achieve in the very early goings of this round. But already much better signs, at least here in this Laundry Supply defense, compared to the opening round where they had no aggression at all up above. Lamball, bottom back stands, but Rento, nice little swing with the SMG-11, finds that kill, needed to. Still has 3 gas babes, so you don't want to be dying early on the smoke.
Yeah, not really the play there for Lamball. He still has 2 grenades. With these shields up, he should be elsewhere to, over towards this front push, actually aiding and clearing this utility. Instead, he kind of just throws his life away over towards rear stage, trying to make a bit of a solo play. And you can see now, Kerry, for example, is struggling to get a foothold, push forward these deployable shields, causing a lot of issues. He doesn't have an impact to clear that. I don't know if there's any grenades left here necessarily on mid-chan to do anything either, on Io-Chan rather. So this is going to be, I think, a rough execute here for GyoGun.
Yeah, and the gas babes now as well for Rento with 30 seconds left. I think has 1 more in the back pocket. This will even just buy more time. Io-Chan now forced over towards Freezer, but with 20 seconds left, they don't have the numbers, they don't have the time, they don't have the utility There's a lot of things that GyoGun don't have, but maybe the only chance that they could have is just dropping down and hitting a couple of shots, causing a bit of chaos on site. Areva, oh! I thought maybe had a chance of getting the double. In fact, that was so high a chance through Freezer. Gets the second one. Kerry goes down. Areva's going to be able to try and stick this plant. Obviously, Tayu is going to be able to try and deny it. He messes up the Yokai, though. Chen makes it a 2 versus 1! GyoGun should not be winning that round! USG balls it up.
Ah, the Yokai, it just didn't stick to the roof. Could have denied the plant with half a second remaining. USG would have claimed the round. No time remaining. We were in red time at that point. If it was denied, the round would have been theirs. Some great aggression there on the hatch drop, and GyoGun making the most of a pretty dire situation. A couple of players throwing their lives away, critical utility then missing, but they still made it work. I don't think USG really had any inkling that, particularly that initial drop in towards site was even on. You could clearly see they got caught off guard, and the freezer push confirmed that double kill. And from that point onwards, they were obviously a little bit frantic, comms cluttered, and unfortunately Echo just narrowly missing the mark.
Yeah, and this is a worrying sign as well for USG. Early days, but the side itself is from their earlier matchup in the quarterfinal where they had multiple rounds like that, Gus, where they had winnable positions, should be winning rounds, and yet didn't. They just continually found ways to lose particular rounds. Fortunately, in that quarterfinal, they were able to find rounds elsewhere that maybe they were less likely to win, and they pulled back a couple of rounds, but they can't allow those kind of slip-ups. GyoGun will punish them. And as they did there at late round, that's now twice as well that laundry supply has been taken by GyoGun. So this is concerning for the defense of USG. We're on Oregon. Oregon defense is the expected side where you are anticipating a 4-2 half. And GyoGun's already got 2 attacking rounds here on Oregon.
DD again looking to try and spawn peek, and the Pulse actually aiding in spotting anyone that spawns over towards Junkyard. Now, Ichen needs to be a little bit careful. His position revealed. PD with pistol in hand looking to see if he can find someone rounding that corner. It might be on. Oh, he hits the shot. He actually lands a single bullet there on to E-Raber, but unfortunately doesn't quite hit the mic. Instead just goes for the jump out. Oh no, could find 2. Does get traded there by Ochen.
Aggressive from Rento. Aggressive from USG on the defense. They lose the pulse, but at least they trade for the thermite. So no exothermic challenges late round. It's all on Ichen to open up any walls, especially over towards meeting. If that's going to be the play, of course, can actually just maybe rotate all the way to the other side of the map. Maybe go for a dining push through showers as well and try and get into kitchen. But we'll see how GyoGun are going to be able to kind of salvage this and adapt from here. Ichen gets completely caught down below. That's both hard breaches gone.
Yeah, I don't know why Maverick is solo entering down below. Very strange. You really, as the Maverick, need to either set up over towards dining, get that wall open into kitchen, or the more common strategy, actually just take big tower control and open in towards site. Either way, though, this is really falling apart for GyoGun. That said, they've been given an opening inside of kitchen and can go for the plant.
No way. Getting this plant down. Koal, though, is going to deny Lamball from behind. Now inside of dining, they've got them pinched on site. There's no chance they get out of here alive. Despite getting that diffuser down on the ground. Unless no way. Goes big. No way, no chance. And there's going to be a 2-2 scoreline here on Oregon. Strange round, though, guys. A very peculiar round. I can't speak.
Defenders win.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff happening in this match. Yeah, you had the jump out big tower being facilitated by the pulse heartbeat sensor. I mean, that was kind of cool. Obviously a bit peculiar and strange, but it worked. And well, it worked to some extent, and then the jump out really did confirm the job. The most concerning thing for me was Maverick just solid lurking basement. Now, I guess maybe the ultimate goal there was to sneak up big tower and try and open up stage, which isn't the worst of macro plays, but I think if you are the only hard breach remaining, you need someone to bodyguard you down below, and at the very least, trade out a pick. And yeah, obviously it fell apart. And once you don't have any hard breach on that site. Yes, you might be able to get inside of kitchen, but they didn't have the manpower to then cover the flank, and it really did just fall apart.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying before, I mean, generally speaking, big tower control, especially with the Maverick, whether you're opening up attic, if it's of course reinforced, and try and get that hatch control inside an attic, and then obviously opening up the meeting wall typically is the more common play, especially if you're bringing that hard breach setup. We move forward though, over to kids dorms once again, which was successfully taken by Donuts USG first go around. So far, the only site they haven't actually been able to win is Laundry Supply.
Seconds left before insertion.
An opportunity for USG to
Attacker's objective is to locate
gain the
and
lead
defuse it.
for the first time here in this matchup. It's all been GyoGun in terms of leading, but USG have kept it close. We did preface early in the pre-match discussion this would be a close matchup all the way through. And early signs and early indications do point at that being correct. We'll see how GyoGun are going to adjust here. I gotta say, the Japanese really love their cap cans as well. We've seen a lot of it here in the Japan Championship.
Yeah, those EDDs recently being reworked in the most recent of patches. Can now place multiple traps on a singular doorway or window, so you can. And I think we're more often than not in competitive seeing 2 on a singular door or a window.
Always.
Inflicts a lot of damage. No spawn peaks in this round, so that's a nice change of pace. 2 minutes left in the round. Utility being dumped. Now, Kawa was taken quite low. Or is it Kerry? I don't know. Some of these names are very different to. No, wait.
Kerry's Kerry.
No, it is Kawau. Yeah, my bad. I'm getting names mixed up. This is the most difficult thing about casting the Japan Championship. Some of the names are wild. GyoGun though, control over towards bedroom, looking to open up Games walls soon. Exothermics from Ariba, just double checking the doorway, making sure he's not going to fall into the trap of Capcan. Perro falling back. Elsewhere though, the bug has been down. So I don't know where that was from. Potentially below. Either way, Adrenal Surge will pick you back up.
It wasn't an EDD, was it?
Could have been.
Might have been the... Yeah, I didn't hear really a massive explosion either, but yeah, it just went down, unless it was a peak from Perro, but I don't think it was. Has Nitrocell available. So you would think if he realized he got the down, he would have maybe tried to finish him off with that Nitrocell, but didn't have the information. 1 minute left here in this 5th round. No way, of course, back up, courtesy of that Adrenal Surge, which now has been slowly pumped through from Lambor. Has one more to get him a bit more health here. Oh. Oh, nice angle from DD from security. Fights elsewhere as well on the map. Go out, will get the elimination onto Arafa. 3 versus 2. USG have got the clear advantage now in this 5th round to take the lead for the first time here on Oregon. It's only no way in a 1 versus 3.
Taken down. Clean as you'd like there for Donuts USG, able to lock out their opponents. A good response and well played in the end. Kind of fell apart a little bit there for GyoGun on those attacks. You still had the Mozzie down below who was kind of unimpeded. The flank as well. Through the breach was a bit of an oversight as well. Thermite caught with his pants down. So a couple of key mistakes there that compounded. But again, well played by Donuts. They maximized their aggression. They made sure their plays counted, and they're keeping this one nice and close.
Yeah, and this is when you think back, right, to that particular round on Laundry Supply. Or was it like a 2 versus 4 that Donuts should have won? It should be a 4-1 scoreline. Like, in all honesty, it should be a 4-1 scoreline. And this is kind of what I was trying to mention earlier in relation to their match against Bluebees. Yeah, that went the distance, and yeah, there was some close scorelines, but it was mainly just because USG just kept making some weird mistakes at times, costing them a couple of rounds here and there. But they were overall the better team, right? And I would say probably so far, I know we've only played the 5 rounds, but I would still say I think they've actually been the better team. Maybe not by a large margin, maybe only by a very small margin, but I think they've done better things than GyoGun. GyoGun has probably made me ponder and question a few things so far. Kawau's been nuts on the Malusi, 7-3. And yet, despite all of that, they only really, you know, on the defensive Oregon, have a chance here to just basically go half of the course of a 4-2 half.
Kitchen dining, defensive for the first time in this matchup, so that's another curveball being thrown into the arena. Something that the attack will need to contend with. Yana in play as well, so a lot of nades on offer here. I think that's probably the key thing to keep our eyes on. 6 in total, might be 4, but no. The Maverick to win out that engagement. Aya-chan to kick things off. Survives with a minuscule amount of HP, but of course Lamborg can bring him back up with those adrenal surges. DD lurking over towards top white, trying to disrupt this vertical control from the attack, but it looks like Kerry will fall back. Small tower, I'm surprised it hasn't been more of a point of contention so far, but it looks like it might be soon. That said, no one from the defense playing showers, no one playing sight. These positions from the defense are a little bit iffy. Lamborg draining ahead. Finding pretty decent intel there. Surely GyoGun can act upon it.
Oh, DD though. It was almost timing there to find that kill. Drones everywhere, but they are starting to get squashed. Now DD can actually play over in showers, has that deployable shield, has the magnets. This will be a little bit of a better positioning. The magnet usage a little questionable. Pero just watches from that lobby entrance, but does get traded immediately back by Io-Chen. 3 versus 4, slight advantage for GyoGun. As USG now basically head back over towards site. Still very little actual control over towards dining though. They basically just leaving it completely open, playing through showers only. Aya-Chen now inside a meeting. Just kind of feels like they are slowly strangling USG on site. Where's Rento? Where's the smoke?
Above, I think, in kids. Either way, though, pressure over towards showers. DD now under the pump, playing behind the deployable shield, draining pack check the wall, which I think Ariba might be looking to open up. Either way, though, the Bucks can push in, pull back. DD under so much pressure. Flashes flying through, 30 seconds on the board.
I think he thought he was maybe full white when no way eventually pushed in the first time. Then, of course, the second time with the Raver, they're both able to combine. Yeah, and you were right, smoke playing inside the kids, only 1 gas babe remaining. Caillou trying to use those yokai drones, cannot deny the plant, ends up dying anyway. And unfortunately for Rento, really just didn't do a whole lot above, and I think at the end of the day, just not much pressure at all over towards small tower, nothing over in dining. There was only the 1 player inside of showers. Some questionable defense there for that particular round. And again, it's just like, this is the storyline of USG. Some rounds they look great, they look like world beaters, and other rounds they do some very questionable things that you just wonder if maybe they're purposefully extending some of these matches.
Yeah, that defensive setup was honestly quite poor. They weren't reactive enough to their opponents, and on the attack there, GyoGun, really good drone work up ahead, particularly through showers and whatnot. They had a pretty good read on what was happening. Then the Thermite creating the line of sight in towards dining and across. And from there, they were able to flush out showers, flush up that position, and yeah, the round was basically over. They probably made it, they probably prolonged it a little bit more than it really needed to on the attack, but at the end of the day, they got the job done. They even out the half. And I mean, so far the storyline we crafted in the pre-show, right? It's kind of coming into fruition. Very close between these two so far, 3-3 scoreline. And neither team's playing exceptionally well, or at least like consistently well. Yeah. Almost every single round that a team has claimed, it's off the back of a couple of mistakes from their opponents, right? So I think whichever team can sort of tidy up here in the second half and increase their consistency is going to find success. Now, of course, that's a very blanket, generic statement that could be made in any matchup, but for whatever reason, in this particular map so far, it's felt extremely volatile. It's extremely volatile. Just from the very beginning of the action phase, you really have to be careful because both teams are just doing pretty ridiculous stuff.
Well, there's no consistency in their approach, right? There's no method to this madness that we're seeing in the first half. 3-3 on the scoreline, definitely a fair indication that this has been close, but it hasn't really been the most skillful match of Siege. Mistakes are plenty, and I think it just comes down to being who's going to be the first team to ease up on some of these mistakes. And so sort of just pull the reins in a little bit. Might be GyoGun on the defense. This might suit them here. Or maybe USG might actually prefer being on the attack. Of course, towards the back half of that first half, they did start to get a little bit more aggressive with some spawn peaks. They can bring that over to their attack and be aggressive. Lambo, though, can he find someone? I don't think he's been droned out. Pero. Now he does get droned down, but he just pushes straight into Rento. Shots through meeting, gets another drone as well, expecting yet another swing, and he can reset the Zoya gate. Regardless of what happens from here, it's still a win. You're taking out the sledge, you're taking out a lot of time for this basement defense.
Yeah, this is a really aggressive extension here. I like the use of the Zoya gates in combination with the Banshees as well to really slow down the progression here of the attack. And based on Donut's body language and the way they're playing this so far, it doesn't really seem like something they're all that comfortable in taking on. They do know that they need to. Unfortunately, they let Ariba blip through. Lambo is still up ahead over towards Split. Again, his position is known. It has been droned out. That said, that follow-up intel probably lacking. As I say that, though, the swing comes through, and Donuts USG run away with the round. A 4-2 advantage with a minute on the clock.
Yeah, and how we go from praising GyoGun to suddenly Donuts USG with a two-man advantage is just indicative of his entire best of three. Pero on site just does as he pleases. Hello?
I don't even know
what is going on?
I really don't know what to say at the moment, right? Because that extension up above looked really strong. Geez, I think in hindsight, maybe they should have fallen off after they farmed those drones. There was only 4 available. Laundry was quite a safe rotation as the attack only had a foothold over towards Big Tower. But instead, GyoGun on the extension insisted on playing those positions, and they eventually just got farmed. Particularly Lambo, for example, he was already low. He should have just rotated off back towards site. And yes, they may not have had as much utility to necessarily lean on because it was invested in that extension, but they'd already done good groundwork. They'd already wasted quite a bit of time. Yeah, I think in hindsight, just probably rotate back. Donuts, eventually everything kind of clicked. They worked out how to progress through that set extension, and yeah, they just enrolled their opponents out of nowhere.
It's also another laundry supply site that has been won by the attacking team. Tactical timeout, by the way, has been called by GyoGun. Obviously not happy with how that transpired at the end of the round. It also does mean that Donuts USG regained the lead. And I gotta say, this match has been a roller coaster. There's at certain points where I'm like, oh, USG look great. And then there's another point where I'm like, oh no, GyoGun look great. And then the next round I'm like, oh, USG look pretty poor. And then I'm like, oh, no, actually it's GyoGun who look a little bit poor. I just don't know what to make of this at the moment.
You're telling me I'm trying to color commentate this game and I don't even know what's going on for the most part. It's very... the way to describe it is it's very difficult to get a read as to what's going to happen. It's not like... The analogy I would use, it's like you get 1 + 1 and normally that would equal 2, but in this matchup sometimes 1 + 1 equals 3 or 4 or 6.5. Like everything's just not adding up to the same result despite things playing out. You know, the way that you may expect. It's just not equating to consistent results. And that last round was a perfect example, right? GyoGun, they had the extension, they did all the groundwork, and then we flicked momentarily to USG, and they're just sending it, finding these kills, and completely turning things around. Absolutely out of nowhere, seemingly, with a lack of intel and time going against them. And yeah, it's very tricky to digest, but I don't mind something a little bit different. Very much a variation to what you would normally see in a lot of other regions.
Some of the standouts so far, Ayachan for GyoGun, 10-4 now. And then Kawao, 9-4 for USG. Other than that, no real clear other standouts. Pero's been decent as well, 7 kills, 3 assists. A chance for USG maybe to extend the lead. I'm almost certain the biggest lead of this match has only been 1 round, 1 round differential. So these two teams have literally gone back and forth. It has been, as we said it would be, a very close affair. at least here on Oregon. Maybe a chance, though, for USG to build some momentum. Of course, this is off the back of a tactical timeout from GyoGun, which does tend to usually find success for teams that call that tac timeout. Not always, but mostly. And for the first time, we're going to see the Flores.
Yeah, we're also going to see the Dokkaebi in play as well here, which may aid in some of this roam clear, particularly down below here from GyoGun, but it doesn't look like they're necessarily leaning into that all too heavily outside of maybe Lambo or on the bottom floor. A lot of pressure over towards double window. That's the kit there in the hands of Caillou, seeing what he can get done. Elsewhere, DD, lit and killed. So that's not a great start here for the attack, and that Flores we were hyping up a little bit won't get much playtime.
Oh, how are you? Wait, hang on, what? Did I just miss-see something? I feel like I just saw a ghost walk past Pero.
Located by attackers.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, I don't know. I honestly feel like I've just not seen something.
Oh! I feel like I've made that noise a lot today. Just, oh! And it's genuine, just, like, surprise. I just don't know what's going on at the moment. 4v3. Donuts. Again, diffuser in the hands there of Caillou. Grenades from down below. Could be at the play.
Wow.
Kerry taken low. Now, that wasn't the grenade. That was back over towards that concrete position. He's in a 2-on-4.
The round's over.
Ariba, aggressive over towards double window. Gonna jump out, finds one on a drone, but immediately traded there. So not the worst of results here. Now, it is the Capcan left all alone. USG to take the round nowhere, not much he could do.
Well, it started with GyoGun getting the opening kill, started with them taking out the Flores, started with them looking good, and then just kills basically flowed freely for USG. Now with a 2-round differential, now close to that match point here on Oregon. I'm still perplexed as to what happened over at Classroom, guys. Maybe during one of our breaks, you can go back, grab a clip, and just find out what happened. Because, yeah, I'm a little bit perplexed.
If I had a clip for every perplexing moment in this map so far, I'd probably just rip the whole VOD at this point. I don't think I have been this confused by Game of Siege in a long time. It's just crazy. Yeah, anyway, Donuts with the lead. They've been looking alright on these attacks. Again, a lot of unpredictable gameplay coming. They did a decent job though in that last round to actually, you know, counteract some of these picks that are coming through from GyoGun that you would expect to be quite impactful, right? Flores being one of those. And I think on baseline that's going to be even more imperative. Flores with those Rotary drones over towards blue can clear out that position quite easily, and a lot of these footholds on base we're seeing more and more so here globally, and particularly here in the Japan Championship, are just so difficult to hold because there just isn't enough projectile denial to actually prevent that from happening. So I think Donuts again need to be very, very careful and not allow these players to die early, as it could prove costly. And again, we're going to see this extension up above. It worked well last time for GyoGun, except for the part where they forgot to rotate off. So I'm keen to see if Donuts actually contest it this time or not.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, and bringing the Flores this time as well for launching supply, they most likely will put more pressure over towards blue as a team, not just as the Flores. So I'm kind of anticipating they may actually just completely ignore. Oh my god, what? Well, free drone, nothing comes from it besides that.
What is this, man? This is...
Honestly, I was half expecting him to just keep running at that point. Like, I'm out here, I may as well just keep running at the bottom of big tower all the way to the other side of it. But no, he found some common sense there, Lambo, and has gone back over towards meeting.
Wow, these Banshee positions are quite wild. Pretty aggressive on the roam. Ariba, Kitchen, finds that kill. So that's a nice opening there on to Pero. And that's pretty big, right? Yana can't scout ahead now with those Geminis. Grenades taken down as well.
The Flores is pushing in from double window and not from blue.
Throwing flashbang.
I don't know where these Veteros are being planned to use, and they still haven't... guys, you haven't cleared Kitchen.
Well, the round's over.
Where do you... Hello? Two players died on the roam, and you're not clearing it, and you're walking straight into it. Still! Fortunately, at least Caillou will get one back, but this has been pretty messy. Now, this is where GyoGun needs to just hold on. This is a round you don't lose. You do not lose it from here. 70 seconds, you need to hold on. Lambo's low, needs to be careful on that rotation, but can just bunker down somewhere on site. I mean, Donuts have a bit of utility to work with here. A couple of flashbangs, at least one left now, but no grenades. Again, this should be GyoGun's round through and through. Yeah,
the biggest thing that GyoGun just need to make sure they don't do here is just peek by themselves in a solo position. Allow USG on site at this point, even if you have to. And then, yes, through these angles, you find these easy kills, where it's so difficult then for USG to trade and or find the picks. They've got the angles covered. They're not going to allow Rento to get this diffuser and get it down. Well, messy kind of round again. I'm absolutely perplexed by the attack, though, of USG in that round. Like,
yeah,
it's like they didn't even care that the site was basement. They just went everywhere else on the map. Like, Flores going through double window at the beginning of the round. Like, I'm confused as to what the plan is there.
I can only assume that they're wanting to actually take on the roam clear, but then once one or even two players dropped, they were still trying to like half commit to it, but also kind of walk past it and ignore it, and that led to more deaths. So very strange. There needs to be a distinct decision made by GyoGun. They either fully commit as a team, as a unit to clearing the roam clear, or they just try and take blue, facilitate that by the Flores, take big tower as well, and go for a more traditional push. Yes, the extension's going to make lobby control difficult for a front push, and freezer as well with those banshees placed around, but you don't necessarily need to go for those two avenues. So yeah, very, very confused there from USG, but again, that's just the common notion, I think, in this matchup at the moment, trying to understand what the hell's going on.
It's kind of what we've probably come to expect from this game. Obviously, the old Japan Championship has been so amazing to watch. There's been a lot of really good matches, and there's also been some ones like this, but none exactly like this. They've really saved the craziest one till last, apparently. Like, for example, last night, the Cyclops Zepto game was actually, at least I felt like a pretty decent game of Siege, like a pretty decently high level game of Siege. There wasn't too much craziness. It was a well-fought match. But geez, this Oregon match between USG and GyoGun has just been all over the place. Hard to find a favorite. Hard to say, well, this team's been the better team. Both of them have made big lapses in judgment, some questionable decision making. As I said before, it's just the first one to sort of reel it in and find a way to stop making these mistakes.
No short of explosives here for USG. 6 grenades in total, and those Rotero drones as well. So if there is any piece of utility standing at the end of this round, something has gone seriously wrong. Seriously wrong here for USG. Of course, as bulletproof, they'll need to contend with and a single deployable shield, so it really shouldn't be all that difficult. And if they want to lean into Vet quite heavily, I don't see any reason why they couldn't try and dislodge defenders, maybe find even a kill or two with the grenades from down below. It's not being held heavily by GyoGun. So if they drone out the likes of Kitchen, the surrounding area, it'd be a miss for Donuts to not just straight up go down below and get to work with those grenades. Oh my.
You were saying?
What do I even say about that? Rento just in the biggest rat position of his life. Big tower as well. There could be an engagement scene. Yeah, that happened. Kawa as well is also somehow, I guess, snuck up armory stairs and is now in bedroom. Yeah, cool. Okay.
At this point, I'm just half expecting Kawao to just push onto site here on the Nook, and clearly has used the Nook to just, as he said, push up those stairs and basically get for free into bedroom. Lambo top of Freezer stairs. Don't think there's anyone though from US. Oh, never mind. Sorry, on the right hand side.
No, they know.
See behind him. Oh, but Lambo doesn't know.
He's being cautious though.
Oh, Para doesn't know he's maybe already made the cross up to the very top though. They both don't know.
Surely they can. Surely he can hear Lambo. He's moving around a lot. Yeah,
oh my god! What?
Yeah. That was definitely not the play. Anyway, here's the nade play from below. DD looking to try and find a kill. USG, they don't really need to lean into this too heavily now. They've got the man advantage. 20 seconds though, starting to count down. Oh, that's a nice one. They carry up the board. And it's a Reba and Frost to try and hold on. And I don't think that's really going to happen.
Match point. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It all just sort of goes to that back to back to back to back to back to back to back. That's when you're like, well, I don't know what's going on anymore. But what we can say and what we do know is that USG are leading here on Oregon 6-4. GyoGun have actually stalled out a little bit. The first half, of course, was 3-3. So since then, it has been 3-1 to USG. Their attack on Oregon has been pretty successful. We generally expect the defense on Oregon to generally be quite suffocating for the attacking team. And GyoGun has basically been anything but suffocating. They've just left the front door open half the time.
A good logical response though from GyoGun in this round. They're going to actually extend down below. You can see the rotations, Banshees being deployed from Lambor, etc. And again, that's a logical response to Donut's USG composition. Oh, whoa.
I looked down for 2 seconds. What happened? What?
The round's over. Kawa has just straight up pushed Armory stairs, found a 2K. There's a third elsewhere. He's finally been traded back here, but the damage has already been done.
Well, I'm so confused. I literally finished talking, looked down, and then I looked back up, and the round's over. And there's still 2 minutes and 20 seconds left into the round.
I was still trying to explain why GyoGun were maybe going to win the round because they were holding down below to counter the grenade play. But I guess if you just let someone straight up walk through Armory stairs, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, the round is quite literally over in the blink of an eye.
Oh, for Carrier, no way. They need to do something here if they're going to extend this Oregon match. Otherwise, yeah, it very much is going to be over. At least they were able to shut down Koa's Nook, but 14-6-1 damage has been done in terms of this map. He has been so impactful. Hero as well. And honestly, there's so much time remaining for USG. They can just spend the entire rest of this round clearing utility and making 110% sure that they don't throw this round, late round. The Gemini from Para gets so much information over towards Pit and Attic. Find that play over towards the back of Kids. There's obviously one over the back of Dorms. So you now know where the last 2 players are. You now have that information. You can pinch from so many different avenues as well. Double window, top white. Through bedroom, through everything. Attic as well, if you really want to. You still got a minute. So they're basically going to come in from like 4 different angles, guys. There's no way that Carrier no way can win this. Surely there's no way. Tell me there's no way. There's no way.
Well, you're right. No way. Donuts USG able to close out the round off the back of one of the more peculiar entries I have ever seen in a game of Siege. Carwell just jumping straight in, finding the 2K to kick things off. That was the hands down wildest game of Oregon I have quite literally ever seen in my life, and that includes